We grant the extension of time in respect of the finding of contempt in Leeds Crown Court and allow the appeal against that finding for the detailed reasons set out in the judgment, essentially because the process was...
Britain was stunned this morning by a Supreme Court ruling that has upended the political landscape, declaring Prime Minister Keir Starmer's covert EU alignment scheme unlawful and a blatant circumvention of democratic processes. The unanimous decision exposed a plan to harmonize UK regulations with Brussels without parliamentary scrutiny or public debate, igniting widespread fury and calls for accountability. This verdict not only invalidates a policy, but also casts a long shadow over Starmer's leadership, raising profound questions about transparency in post-Brexit Britain. The court's announcement sent shockwaves through Westminster, where MPs and aides scrambled to respond amid a barrage of media inquiries. Judges described the scheme as an unconstitutional overreach, designed to erode Brexit's core principles through back-channel negotiations masked as routine cooperation. What began as whispers of regulatory talks ballooned into revelations of secret memos and undisclosed meetings with EU officials, all bypassing the sovereignty safeguards enshrined in the 2016 referendum. Starmer, who campaigned on restoring trust after years of Tory turmoil, now faces accusations of hypocrisy that could fracture his party and erode public confidence. Protests erupted outside Parliament almost immediately, with crowds chanting slogans like "Respect the vote" and "No more secrets." Demonstrators, a mix of Brexit veterans and disillusioned voters, waved placards decrying what they saw as an elite betrayal. Social media platforms exploded with outrage, hashtags such as #StarmerBetrayal trending globally as users shared clips of the ruling and personal stories of feeling deceived. One viral post from a former Labour supporter read, "I trusted him to honor democracy, not undermine it in the dark." The sentiment resonated widely, amplifying a sense of national betrayal that transcended traditional party lines. Inside Labour headquarters, the atmosphere was one of barely contained panic. Senior figures huddled in emergency sessions, drafting damage control statements while fielding irate calls from constituency offices. Backbench MPs, particularly those in Leave-leaning seats, expressed raw anger, with some publicly demanding an independent inquiry. This isn't just a policy misstep. It's a dagger to the heart of our mandate, one anonymous MP told reporters. Whispers of leadership challenges circulated, fueled by long-simmering discontent among the party's left and centrist wings. Starmer's silence in the initial hours only intensified the scrutiny, as allies urged him to address the nation swiftly. The Conservatives, sensing blood in the water, pounced without hesitation. Opposition leaders branded the ruling as vindication of their warnings about Labour's Remain by Stealth agenda. In fiery statements, they accused Starmer of contempt for voters, positioning themselves as staunch defenders of Brexit. "This is what happens when you try to rewrite history behind closed doors," declared a prominent Tory frontbencher on morning broadcasts. Even internal divisions within the party seemed to pause, united in condemnation that could bolster their polling in key battlegrounds. Smaller populist groups, including those advocating for a harder EU divorce, capitalized on the chaos. Leaders like Nigel Farage took to airwaves and online rallies, proclaiming the verdict as proof of an establishment conspiracy. "We said they'd never let Brexit stand, and here it is, exposed for all to see," Farage thundered in a video that garnered millions of views. Membership inquiries for these outfits surged, drawing in disaffected voters who viewed the scheme as the ultimate validation of their skepticism toward mainstream politics. The ruling's implications extend far beyond immediate fallout. It reignites debates on Britain's constitutional framework, highlighting tensions between executive power and judicial oversight. Legal experts noted that the decision reinforces parliamentary supremacy, serving as a deterrent against future shadowy maneuvers. For Brexit supporters, it's a triumphant affirmation that their choice cannot be quietly dismantled. Yet, even Remain sympathizers voiced concern over the erosion of democratic norms, arguing that such secrecy poisons public discourse regardless of policy merits. As the day unfolded, demonstrations spread to major cities like Manchester and Birmingham, where locals gathered in town squares to voice their discontent. In workplaces and homes, conversations turned heated, with many expressing a deepened distrust in institutions. "If the PM can hide something this big, what else is lurking?" asked a Birmingham resident in a street interview. Media outlets dissected every angle, from leaked documents outlining the alignment to potential EU reactions, which remained muted but hinted at disappointment. Starmer's team eventually issued a statement pledging full cooperation with any reviews and reaffirming commitment to Brexit, but it did little to quell the storm. Critics dismissed it as too little, too late, demanding resignations and transparency reforms. The scandal has also prompted soul-searching within Labour ranks, with some members admitting the party underestimated public sensitivity to EU ties. As night fell, the pressure showed no signs of easing, with polls indicating a sharp drop in Starmer's approval ratings. This episode marks a pivotal moment in UK politics, where a single judgment has unraveled months of careful positioning. It underscores the fragility of post-Brexit consensus and the high cost of perceived duplicity. For Starmer, survival hinges on navigating this crisis with uncharacteristic candor, but the damage may prove irreversible. The nation watches closely, wary that today's revelations could foreshadow deeper rifts in an already polarized society. The Supreme Court's intervention has not only halted a policy, but potentially reshaped the trajectory of British governance, ensuring that secrecy in high places will face fiercer scrutiny than ever before. In the broader context, the ruling forces a reckoning with how Brexit legacy is managed. Populist undercurrents, long simmering, now threaten to overflow, challenging established parties to rebuild trust or risk obsolescence. As Britain grapples with this upheaval, one thing is clear. The era of quiet realignments is over, replaced by a demand for sunlight in every corner of decision-making. The aftershocks will linger, testing the resilience of leaders and the endurance of democratic ideals in a time of profound uncertainty.